Good morning, friends. Steve Sisler here. Listen, I've been doing a lot of posts lately about some of the disruption that we have going on in the country. So I wanted to do a short live here just to enlighten you a little bit on how the brain works. Here's how it works. Every human being has a certain amount of beliefs, certain kinds of thoughts, and live on a specific trajectory that will support and justify what a person is believing about anything in the world. This is why you will never not have differing religious groups. It's the reason why you will never have differing political affiliates and associations in the country. Societies are built upon groups of people who come together in solidarity in an effort to boost their standing in the world, because human beings are animals. Okay, I know that sounds crazy, but we are animals. The difference between human beings and deer is the neocortex and that part of the brain that we have come to call the new brain. So the new brain is the part of our brain that would calculate a math equation. Susan had 4 apples. She sold each apple for 40 cents. How much money does Susan have? Deer don't do that. Bears don't do that. Cats don't do that. People do that. So people can plan, scheme, predict, and things like this. You never think of a cow in a field thinking, gee, the weather's starting to change. I better go check on the kids, or this kind of thinking. That's done with the new part of the brain that has enabled us to create iPhones, computers, these types of things, because we are able to reason. We're able to reason through our thinking processes, where animals do not reason. They operate on a pre-programmed, instinctive set of rules that are built into their thinking system. This is why a polar bear at a zoo, if you've ever seen this, it will walk in a figure 8, the same figure 8 that it has for the last 3 or 4 years, and go into the water, come up, and then walk in the figure 8, and go into the water and come up and walk in the figure 8. And the reason being is because that animal has reached its instinctive capacity. It doesn't know what to do. What would a human do? Plan an escape, right? Climb the wall, fake hurt, and things like this in an effort to get out. And then they would hide themselves. They would build themselves a fort. They would move out of the country, buy a plane ticket. There's all the animals don't do this. They live to the level of their instinctive ability. And then if the environment around them changes, they go extinct. They can't move. They don't think this way, but we do. So the other part I wanted to bring up is we have this neocortex. So we are animals that plan, scheme, and predict. And we have a third person capacity. In other words, we think to ourselves, I have to stop doing this to myself because it's not in my best interest. So there's the I. I have to stop doing this to myself. That's the second person. Well, who's talking? The third person. Okay? Human beings have a third person perspective because they're thinking out of the third brain. Okay? The first brain is the brain stem, basically, which allows heart, lungs. You're not sitting here working really hard to produce more red blood cells or to digest your food or to keep your heart pumping. That's just not what you're doing. You don't think about that. These are unconscious things that are taking place. The second part of your brain is the limbic area, which is fight, flight, freeze, and fornicate. Okay? It's the natural need orientations that are instinctive. When you get to the edge of a cliff, your stomach does a flip. When you look down at the hose, the garden hose, and your brain thinks it's a snake, and you lose your breath. Oh my God! I thought that was a snake, but it's not. It's hooked to the house once you realize it. So instincts come first, reasoning comes second. Okay, animals do not do that. All right, if you've ever seen videos on YouTube of a cat eating its food or drinking its water, and then somebody places a cucumber on the floor behind the cat. And as soon as the cat turns around and sees the cucumber, it jumps into the air. And no matter how many times you do that, the cat will keep doing it. The cat never goes like this. Oh, hold on a second. This is the old cucumber trick. Like, the cat is not able to do that. And so anyway, I need to point out how our brains are different. Now, here's something people do, and this is what you're seeing across the country right now. Whatever you believe, and I don't care why you believe it, who told you it was true, or what group you're affiliated with that believes this as a unit, and therefore you must believe it too in order to stay within that unit. But whatever you believe, you will not make any attempt to verify its authenticity or the truth of whatever it is you're believing. Okay, this is why, religions believe crazy things like you can walk on water, you can fly into the sky, into outer space without a space helmet. There's going to be a horse with wings, Pegasus flying out of the sky with Jesus on it and a sword coming out of his mouth and then killing all the inhabitants of the earth with fire. Like all these crazy things we believe. We will never seek to verify if these are real or not, or anything of that sort. The wafer becomes the body of Jesus. So, you eat that and you're actually eating human flesh and drinking human blood. I mean, it's like ritualized cannibalism. But if you look at your pancake and you say, my God, I just took a bite of this and before it went into my mouth, it became Elvis Presley, you're insane. But if you say it becomes Jesus, you're a Catholic. So it's how our brains function. And don't get me wrong, I'm not getting down on religion. I think religion is necessary for all the good reasons, and certainly don't want that to go away. It keeps people in check. There are some people that attend church that would be sociopathic if they didn't have this to follow. Trust me. So anyway, the point I'm making is we don't verify truths. We justify feelings. So if I feel, I don't care, fill in the blank, then my brain is going to look. It's going to hunt and look for illustrations, for situations that fit within the paradigm of what I'm thinking. So if I believe this person is bad, whether they're bad or not, but I believe they're bad, I begin to look for reasons to justify the feelings that I have that this person is bad. That's called post hoc storytelling. Okay, that's what it's called. It's called post hoc storytelling. And we know and have proven for a fact through social experimentation, neurology, neuroscience, psychology, these different fields where we set up real experiments and watch how people act. You will make a decision based upon how warm the coffee is that you're holding in your hand. Okay? Your idea of anything can change. If I interview you and I ask you questions about morality, And I talk about some immoral things in these questions. I raise these immoral ideas in these questions. And then once you leave that room after answering the questions, part of this survey with, let's say, 50 or 60 students, and on the way out, you get a free gift because, you helped in the survey, and one of those items is hand sanitizer. That's what 70 some odd % of the people are going to pick because they have to wash the thinking that they just had in the immoral questions. Okay? So if you ask them, why did you pick the sanitizer? What is that person going to do? They're going to create a story that basically justifies why they bought sanitizer and it picked out the sanitizer, and it's going to have nothing to do with the questionnaire. They invent something. And this is what humans do. We do this over and over and over again. So my point is, as you're living in the world and associating with social media and watching things happen, you need to think, why am I attracted to this post and not to that one? And the reason's going to be because that post, justifies what you already think, and that post over there doesn't. It doesn't agree with it. So it becomes anti-associative to what you already believe. And so you really need to think about these things because, the odds of this changing are slim to zero and likely zero. But I think a few people can rearrange their thinking processes and begin to look at things with the idea that I could be completely off my rocker here. I could be completely wrong. What have I been thinking? Let me force my brain to verify the things I am thinking and give it as much attention as I do to justifying what I believe. And so that's what I hope you all begin to do, because this thing's heating up, folks, and it's going to likely get crazy. And the only people who survive crazy are the ones who aren't. All right? So you gotta pay attention. What is it you believe? Why do you believe it? And are you verifying those ideas and facts? Because everything has facts associated with it. And if there isn't, it's a belief. Okay? It's a belief at that point. And so it's really important that you play this justification verification game, because left to yourself, it's only, justification. There is no verification unless you step outside of yourself and force that to happen. So that's what I'm hoping you do, and maybe you can begin doing that today. And in that process, you'll be better. You'll learn something maybe for once in your life. And you will unlearn a lot of stuff which might tip this country into a better position than it's in right now. Anyway, that's all I got. We'll connect again and have a great rest of your week.